Good morning. I am Dante. As always, I am joined with the lovely Leanne Farts.
Dude, it's not even a good one. That's not even funny. I've been hearing that since kindergarten, man. Whatever.
Where are you pulling that from?
Lame.
I'm also joined with the talented artist Brian Mercer, as well as the talented artist Jodi Cachia. And she is also Grandma from King Diamond.
Yeah, she is.
It's Cachia.
Cachia?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's like not how you say that.
I've been
No,
trying
it sounded kind of exotic, but you'd be like Cachia. Or confused.
It's the French way of saying your name.
Okay. Well, I'm the ass who said it wrong.
I never asked, but I was like, how do I go about doing this without being a dork and going, what is your last name? What is your last name? So,
I guess I've heard it announced at King Diamond when he said thank you, but I never heard it, I guess.
Like in a Danish accent as well.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Danish accent it makes it a little different, I guess. So
you guys are friends. How do you know each other?
we had mutual friends that would always say, you know Jodi. And I'm like, nah, I don't know Jodi.
Yeah.
And then we were at Yob, and she came up and punched me in the shoulder.
Nice.
She's like, we've been at 1,000 shows with each other.
Yeah, because this friend, I'd be like, she'd be like, you know, my friend Brian. I'm like, no, I don't. I got so sick of being like, I don't know your friend Brian.
Yeah.
Everybody's a friend.
I'm like,
Brian.
there he is. I'm going to know Brian.
Yeah. So she got, God bless her, she came out and said something, and we've been kind of friends since, and it's been rad. I mean, like, we get together like once a month and drink too much and bitch about our careers, so it's kind of rad.
So how long have you been friends?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
That fake book thing came up. You know, when it says...
No, yeah, but that wasn't real.
yeah.
That's...
When
it was
Facebook
it was
friends are
at that
different
dark
than-
art show that we actually, like, bonded over Tecates.
The
Now,
one
which
at
one?
the one at Shred Shed or the one at Grind Courthouse?
It was at
El Bar?
El Bar.
El Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So, I don't know. It's probably only been like a year or so.
I think it's
something.
about 2 years.
Year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Time flies when we're having fun.
So yeah, it's been, we have like a mutual appreciation society going. It's kind of rad. So.
What do you mean?
Well, we both work. We kind of both work in the arts, and and like Jodi was really doing a lot of retail, and I was like, how does that work?
Retail?
Yeah, like kind of like conventions and art shows and craft fairs. And
Selling
such.
your own art, not
Yes.
working a retail
Yeah,
job.
Yeah.
As opposed to like going the gallery route, selling it yourself.
So you go and you sell a lot of your art physically. Do you do the same thing?
I've crawled out of the woods of New Jersey, and I've started doing it. Yes.
Has it been
Special
going well?
appearances. only.
It has.
I'm sure you have a lot of backstock of different posters and stuff like that.
Believe it or not right now.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I mean it's sold. So, nothing beats a handshake. So, I mean, once you
It
get
goes
out,
a long way actually meeting the person that's
Yeah.
buying the art.
yeah, it just transfers better.
So those of you that don't know Brian, Google image search Brian Mercer, because that's what I did, and you will find an entire portfolio of freaking awesome stuff.
It's a
Thank
massive portfolio.
Thank you.
What mediums do you work in?
Pen and ink mostly. I do a lot of. I've been starting to do water. I used to do watercolors when I was a kid. My mom's a watercolor artist, and I started doing them again. So that's been the past year and a half. I haven't been doing as much lately because I've been just doing a lot of pen and ink work for like retail or like for merchandise jobs.
Do you ever have your stuff screen printed?
Yeah, I print all the posters and all the prints. I don't do shirts. I haven't done shirts. I'm not set up for that. That seems like a nightmare.
Those ridiculous machines and the dryers.
I don't have the thing, and everybody gets that stuff and is like, "I'm going to be a millionaire," and then it's on Craigslist. So
for more for less than what they paid for it on Craigslist.
I don't want to. Everybody's got a t-shirt company. So.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out yet.
Nothing wrong with it.
If you're screen printing your stuff, do you like digitally make your art and separate the colors and stuff?
Do it all. Yeah.
That's really cool. I want to do that.
Yeah, I do all of it. Yeah. When my brother went to college, he came home and was like, "We're building a silkscreen studio." I'm like, "All right." And then he took his shirt off, put Neurosis on, and then like came up a week later and was like, we have a silkscreen studio now.
Nice.
Dang.
So
That's the way to do it.
yeah.
How long does it take you to make a piece? And how big do you usually make them?
I've been going bigger and smaller. Smaller, like you'll start a big piece and you're like, how am I going to finish? This is going to take forever because you're using small pens and whatnot. But then, some of it could take like a night. Some of it could take 2 weeks. It just varies.
Is this like your full-time job?
It's my full gig.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm sweating. These lights are so hot. I'm under question of them.
I'm trying to find something to fan you off. All I have is this gas mask.
Yeah.
Alright.
Go.
I think on the paragraph 3, that's the way you're supposed to use it.
It's hazmat, too.
Yeah.
Paint project respirator. And why we have that, I don't know.
If you see the big, massive can of spray paint that goes with it, that's why.
What you been doing, Dante?
Lots of spray paint.
Okay.
That's what it's for. Fun.
So your art, aesthetically, is very unique. Jodi. I'm talking to you now.
God, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Unique is a good word.
How did you come up with that particular aesthetic?
Well, I was kind of messing around with printmaking. I was doing some etchings and stuff for a little while, and that kind of got me back into drawing to begin with, but it also got me into like manipulating paper and dyeing paper. And then when I didn't have access to a press anymore, I was like, well, I was kind of already back to drawing, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep drawing and keep messing with paper and just kind of see what happens. And during that time, I also got like into the drawing the birds, and it all just kind of spiraled from there. But I'm actually doing like pretty different work right now. I don't know, like the pen and ink work that I do is so tight, and it can make you, like Brian saying, when you do a larger piece, you can be like, this is never gonna get done. It becomes kind of insane for a little while. It's great when it works out in the end, but so I got kind of burnt out on that and started working like a little bit more abstracted and kind of, again, messing around with paper, but even further, and just doing different, like, looser stuff. So, nobody's seen any of that yet, but
I was gonna say, it's hard. I want to see some more of that.
Well, I think I'll probably go back to it. I'll probably go back and forth, like, because you can't keep doing the same shit all the time, so.
Well, as an artist myself, I'll like get into this one thing and do that for a while and then just purposely switch it up because I don't want to get burnt out or bored of doing the same thing over and over and over. So do you guys experiment with different stuff every once in a while?
Work habits with me. I mean, knuckling down and really pushing off the foundation of what you already have as far as like what skills you have to make them better. It's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm, becoming a better draftsman.
Ooh.
I used to skip around a lot, mainly because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I made a conscious decision to stick with one thing for a while that I actually felt my skills improve.
Do you get commissioned to do a lot of things, or you kind of just are your own visual artist that's creating your own brand of things?
I went through a period, like a year where I was getting commissions all the time. And which is cool because, like, the work's already paid for by the time you start it. That's great. But some of it depends on the commission. Now I really only want to do it if it's something that I really vibe with because I don't know, it can be kind of crappy. But if it's a good project, then it's super fun. Yeah.
Like, do you usually work with musicians? Or actually, this is a question for both of you. Is it usually musicians that you end up collaborating with?
That's more this guy for sure.
Yeah, I collaborate with a lot of musicians. And that's grown from musicians to actual merchandise companies, which is kind of
I love you guys. It's a whole different stress.
You guys are great.
It's a whole different stressor.
Yeah. I enjoy working directly with the bands because there's no middleman. There's no nothing. It's and that's where I come from. Like I started doing stuff. I was in a band. I did flyers for my bands, and then.
I didn't know you were in a band.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, back in the day. And I have hands like forks. And the world's better off without me playing guitar. Even though I still play every once in a while. But
now I'm picturing little teenage Brian practicing his guitar in the mirror.
Yeah.
What kind of music did you play?
With forks taped to his hand.
Yeah.
Did you say metal?
No, like rock, metal, rock. You know what I mean? Like
Ozzy inspired.
Was it more that
top
90s
kind of? Yeah, like crossover stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's all from Black Sabbath. It's Black Sabbath. I get new records to take time off and listen to my Black Sabbath records. This is basically what's going on.
You need a break.
Yeah. So then you get Van Halen and High on Fire and such like that.
Do bands approach you with like, this is kind of what we want, or they like, just make anything, dude?
It varies. I mean, like, they'll cut like. My favorite is Weedeater because they come up with the best concepts and they're so left field, and like we'll hang out at night and Dixie and Shep will hit me up with some stuff and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to get him and draw that. It's so fucked up.
Can you give me an example of something that might be along the lines of what they would ask you to draw?
Well, we just did Desert Fest. Desert Fest hit me up in Europe and I did work for them years ago, just like a poster, real quick. And they wanted to do a shirt for Weedeater. So it sounded fishy, so I hit up Dixie. I'm like, is this legit? And they're like, no, it's legit. Dixie said, this is probably a bad impersonation. He says, they gave us 3 emails, and
I totally picture him saying that.
and we only knew one of them. We said it was Brian Mercer, and we love Brian Mercer. Like, he'll call you about tax stuff, and it's the most exciting thing in the world. It's funny. I mean, it's like a boring conversation with anybody else, but then it's everything about that band is completely true and a complete lie all at the same time. It's wonderful. And so we're doing this poster, or not this poster, this T-shirt, and they said, well, whatever Dixie and Shep want on it, whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, they're coming to town this week, so we're gonna hang. We'll talk about it. And I've always said there's no deserts in Europe.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's no deserts in Europe. I mean, I love Kais and all that, but like, there's no deserts in Europe. So like, it's weird name, but so we always giggle about it. So Dixie was like, "What we want you to do is just make a big cake and put an extra S in that fucker and call it Dessert Fest." I'm like, if we can sneak it by him, let's do it. You know what I mean? And so I did a big goat with a cupcake on its head, and they're like, yeah, we're already doing a couple Dessert Fest. And they were really good sports about it. But,
I thought you were going to say we already have, like, that with a cupcake on it.
Yeah.
You have to come up with something
I would have been pissed. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that would have been so late. But they were cool about it. We got the goat with the cupcake with icing dripping all over it. And we got that in, but not the extra S. So it was rad. But other ones are just like, go for it, whatever you want. You kind of learn their aesthetic. You go back to their whatever, and then you apply what you do to what, whatevs.
What was the first album cover you ever did? I know we're going way back here.
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I have like hit or misses with that.
What was one of the first early memorable album covers that you did? How about that?
I was jacked to do Hail Hornet.
Hail Hornet? That was a good one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That project.
Yeah. Ill-fated project, but 2 great records. And it's like Southern Sludge All-Stars.
How long you
The
been
drummer
doing
from
this?
Backwoods was in Hail Hornet.
You all right? How long you been doing
I don't know.
Prove yourself!
2000, around that time, but not full time.
So like 20 years.
Jeez, you have to go there, yeah.
I promised my mom I wouldn't curse on the show anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
So
she doesn't
sweet.
like it.
Even my mom sees this.
Sorry, Leanne's mom.
No, it's fine. She's cool.
I don't fucking care.
Dante keeps editing in old recordings of me like cursing in just so it's there anyway.
Nice.
There's just a little circle of you cursing, like, fuck.
No, it's just random audio of me saying the F word, just like randomly inserted in places. So fucking good. You're so fucking great.
Oh, you're blushing. That's so rad,
I know,
man.
because she's good at seeing it. No, that happens at least once an episode.
I will say, when
She knows you're in a band, right?
She doesn't know we curse.
You gotta have a clean
It's
mouth
rock
on
and
stage.
roll, man.
What were you saying?
No,
Jodi?
what I put out in my email, my email list that we were going to be doing this, and in my head I'm secretly like, I hope my dad doesn't watch it.
Really?
Because my dad, I don't curse in front of my dad either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to unless there's like an extreme incident, like I really stubbed my toe. Like you just gotta say something.
My life would be hell if I didn't curse in front of my parents.
Yeah. We tried as a family not to for a long time, but we just couldn't do it.
My dad doesn't curse, so it's like, it's like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But my gigs are cool, but Jodi gets the fancy gigs. Jodi gets the rad, like, commissions for people that are... What
I don't know
do.
what he's talking about.
Elaborate, Jodi.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Me neither.
You get rad commission work.
Like wine bottles and stuff like
Well,
that?
no,
or-
not like
Whoa.
kind of like that. Like for like, I want this in my home, and that's very personal, and very rad.
Okay.
I've been happy with some of the commissions I've done, for sure. Like, and one which is great was like, I don't care what you do, I just want to be like, I just want something from you and want it to be from me. So I took a little bit of like what I knew about this person and her husband and like totally made something that was for them. And like, that was really cool. And I had another one, a guy wanted to give it to his wife because they both like my work, and so we picked like elements like as their wedding gift. So I picked elements like wedding dress, bouquet, like different elements of stuff they used in their wedding in it. And so that was cool. That was kind of like an honor because I'm like it's a pretty big day in a couple's life. So
I want you
thought
to make
it was pretty
something for
stoked.
me. What I
What are your
Mom, let her
what are your
curse.
I think I would really want like a butt with like wings on it and wiener dogs also encircling the
You
butt.
haven't
I'm
seen
totally
my career?
seeing wiener dogs with flying wiener dogs.
That could look
Perfect
very
butt.
inappropriate, but
Yeah.
Why?
wiener dogs with a butt with wings?
No, just a butt, and then the middle, and then wiener dogs with wings flying around the butt, and I want there to be
That could
lightning.
be symbolically weird.
It symbolizes me.
I see.
It's a new world, man.
I have gifts for you guys.
No way.
Yeah.
The beer was enough.
You're like, speaking of butts.
No, I have one for the...
Dun,
It
dun,
is a
dun.
self-portrait of me.
Oh my god!
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, show it to the
I'm gonna
camera.
hang this.
Put it right above your bed.
Totally.
Yeah.
First thing that
That's
you
a perfect spot
Or,
for it.
or in the bathroom.
Why are you bloody?
No, I just like, there's gotta be some blood. I
Alright.
thought about doing
Really?
me dead, because that would be like funny too.
There's gotta be some
Well, then we
blood.
can hang.
I made this fun fact entirely drunk. I know you'd never believe it. You would
I never
believe
do
it.
that.
Yeah, it's me. I was
This is
like
my new favorite thing.
right there. just
Yeah, I'm
like
down.
that.
Thank you.
You're
That's cool.
welcome.
Awesome.
And I framed it. The ladies at AC Moore were so slow to let me get out of there with those frames. But I did it. I accomplished it.
Dude, I'm
That's
stoked.
right.
I haven't gotten a new piece of artwork in a long time.
That's so
Well,
cool.
that's from me to you guys.
I have a Johnny Cash in the bathroom. I'll hang this right on.
Oh
Johnny
yes,
Cash.
because we're in the same,
Yeah.
on the same level.
Oh yeah,
Throw Meryl
this
Haggard
is
in there.
awesome.
yeah.
I
It's like
feel
a
bad. I should have brought you something.
No.
yeah. I felt terrible. I was
No,
gonna bring, like,
I
you know-
don't give gifts
Here, do you want me to put
expecting
these-
to get something
Yeah,
in
there you go.
return.
Put that over
Put it
there.
someplace
That one's
safe.
mine.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to art school and I was taught all how to like frame your art and shit, but who got time for that? So it's imperfect. I just cut it with scissors, even though I had crop marks on it and X-Acto. I was just like, fuck this.
No,
Just
I
fuck
like
this.
it. Gives it a more personal quality that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Tyler and then I finished up at Westchester.
I was trying to. I got accepted to Tyler, but I didn't get to go.
It was hard.
Yeah, it's a tough school.
It was really hard. It took me a lot longer to figure out how I wanted to approach making art. That I only figured out after I left that school. Left school altogether, you know.
I'm a not high school, art school dropout. Totally. Art school dropout.
Well, I went to Tyler for 2 years and I started playing in this punk band that we played in like basements all the time in Philly, and my parents were like, And I also joined Metallica like shortly after, and it was a bit more demanding than I was prepared for with Tyler's schedule. And so I dropped out for a year, and my parents were like, if you want to go back to school, like, we need to have some common ground. So we picked Westchester, which was okay. I didn't love it, but I wanted to get that piece of paper, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just finished, and now I, work at a print shop.
Damn.
Doing stuff. Yeah.
Full on.
It's a full-time gig, brother. 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's crazy.
That's big money, man. Own one. The print shops.
I'm learning a lot there.
Or yeah.
I think it's really good to learn about printing process. I think it helps you in that creation end.
I do pre-press stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm on the computer all day. I'd rather be doing more things with my hands and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I get that out at home by getting drunk and making self-portraits.
That's why I stopped doing graphic design full time, because I was like, all I do is sit at a computer all day long every day.
Yeah.
It took me, for a while, I thought, well, I'm a graphic designer. Then I started doing it. I'm like, I'm totally not a graphic designer. I'm just a single image dude.
I don't know. I like doing
That's it,
mixed
man.
media stuff.
Yeah.
So I like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like album covers and such. I'm like, give it to somebody else. Here is your album cover. Deal with it.
Yeah. Somebody else can put the all the other
back
shit.
and forth, email after email. Somebody,
Honestly, I'm
thank you lists.
I'm like, I need to see it till the end. Like, if there was something I wanted to put my artwork, I'd
like
be like, I need to do the layout too, because like control freak would say.
I mean, I'm in a point where I gotta let that stuff go. I mean, because it takes so long to make the stuff. I have to get as much out of the image as I can. I have to get on to the next one.
Yeah.
So, but
Always.
Are you guys saying that, like, when you start something, you want to see it to the end? Or do you end up scrapping a lot of stuff?
She's saying she does. He's saying he makes the art and then hands it off to the band to finish the full layout of everything. Like,
yeah, I mean, like I have
do
say
the art
in it.
and then
I have say in it. Like I'll make suggestions. Like I think maybe the logo should go here. But up into the past, like I would do all of it and whatever. And it's just it can be a real nightmare. But now I'm like, I think it should go this way and that way, or I'll talk to the graphic designer, and they'll go, okay. But like the full on packaging, like it's got folds out here, it's got cutouts and all that. That's some stuff that's for graphic designers. You know what I mean? Like I could say stuff that's really cool, or I have an idea, we can do this. Can you help me with that? There's more people more qualified with that than I am. So I had to let that go.
Yeah, I guess probably just because I did graphic design full time for so long.
Yeah.
That I'm like, especially if I was doing the artwork for it. I mean, it'd be cool either way, but but I would definitely. Actually, somebody did ask me about using my artwork in an album, and I was like, yeah, I also do layout.
Yeah.
Like that was the first
Wait,
thing out of
was it
my
me?
mind. No.
Okay. Because I was like, Heavy Temple, Jodi, cool. Did you?
Well, now you know. I'd be like, that's great. Let me do the layout, dude.
Now
that
I
happen.
know. You have
No,
many
no, yeah,
services that you provide.
Right.
Did you go to school for...
I went to school for graphic design. Mainly because I was kind of like raised to be like, yeah, art's a nice hobby. Like, how do you do that for a living? I didn't even think people could like grow up and be artists. I didn't think that was a thing. So when I was like 18, I'm like, what is the least amount of school I can go to? Or I can get a job.
Where'd you
go? I went to the Art Institute.
Okay.
There was like no, no academic classes. It was just like design. And then it was done. Then it was like, get a job.
Are they even still school?
I think they are. They went.
I know
and
I know they
added,
had
like,
some
classes.
issues with being one of those for-profit schools for a bit there.
I don't know. I hate telling people that I went there just because I'm like.
They gave themselves a really bad name.
Well, plus they
but
had
they
those
had some great. But they
commercials
had
on
great
TV.
teachers. They still had great teachers that taught you a lot of great fundamentals and a lot of great things. But that they overshadowed by poor business choices as a school.
I remember being there, and one teacher was like, "Well, what do you like want to do?" And I'm like, "I just want to paint all the time." And he was like, "Why are you at this school?" I was like, "Because I'm 18 and I don't know how to make life choices."
Man,
like, who
Trying to
leaves
figure it out.
leaves kids up with these decisions? It's
I'm
so
here.
Because I was told I had to go to college.
Yeah, because my parents would have been like really mad at me if I didn't go to college. I'd probably still be working in the mall. So
When you're 18, you're told what to do half the time. You have an idea of what you like, and it's like, I don't know.
Art was the only thing I knew I liked, and I was like, okay, so what do artists do for work? Oh, they do graphic design. I guess that's what I'll do. Like, but the good thing is, like, I still haven't recovered my voice from MDF. I'm like, the good thing is...
You sound great. You sound great.
Is that I use a lot... I mean, I still use a lot of, like, design thought process in my art. Yeah, so, like, it's kind of good that way. And plus, when I go to make marketing materials, it's, like, in my sleep, you know, because I've been doing that for so long. So, some benefits, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think anything's a waste,
Yeah.
you know? I had a lot of graphic courses, too, that have definitely been super helpful, you know? I don't know. Art is art, it's just being on a computer sucks.
It does.
For a long time. You know,
You
but
find
it's useful.
you find ways to just zone out into it. Like,
Yeah,
I basically turn it into like a studio space. I have my music going. I just fucking dial it in. Just, I'm going to be here for hours. Do this.
Yeah, I don't disparage any kind of tool as far as whether or not
It's
how
no different
made.
than spending hours in a darkroom. Like,
Yeah.
to
Brian,
me.
if you're screen printing, don't you have to separate colors and everything? Do you have to design it with that in mind?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do that with, you know, through the process. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll do it on the computer, but yeah, I don't.
Do you have one of those drawing pads?
Not yet.
I love mine.
I have one.
I mean, I have a Wacom.
Yeah.
And then someone's trying to talk me into getting a Cintiq. So I don't know. That's a lot of money. Whatever.
It sounds like you don't use the tablet, though.
No, I use it for like coloring.
Yeah.
It's a different concept because you have to look at the
Yeah.
screen versus.
There's some rad stuff that the iPad just made it compatible,
Yeah.
and so like, and there's ways you can mirror screen that I want to do, because I know once I can be able to directly draw onto the screen, it's a whole nother ball game. So,
Yeah, there's just an app I use to connect the iPad to the
I forget
the
the name of
computer.
the damn-
Duet is the one I use.
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's
There's really
double.
good ones out, and I haven't pulled the trigger on getting that one yet, which is something I should do, because I know that'll help with the color separations and all that kind of silliness.
But we're gonna take a break for a little bit, and we'll be back.
I'll start this. So,
Your face is like ridiculous.
well, it's just my face. Your face is usually okay. It's just, I just don't call it out. So, you are involved with the King Diamond production.
Yes.
True or false?
That would be true.
Do you go on the road with them?
Yes.
How often do you get to do that?
It varies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, it's been sometimes. I mean, we generally do like 2-month tours when we go out. So sometimes we don't tour like other bands that are like hitting the pavement like all the time. But sometimes it'll be 1 tour, 2 tours a year. Sometimes none. Sometimes a bunch. It varies a lot.
I mean, you obviously must like doing that. How long have you been involved?
It was 20 years.
Oh my god.
April was 20 years. Yeah.
Awesome.
Holy guacamole.
I started when I was 4. So
Did you have a party for your anniversary, your 20th
No,
anniversary?
I didn't, and I kind of like, I was all like stoked about it, and then I like forgot, and then I was like, "What's today? Ah, damn it! I missed the anniversary. I kind of forgot about it."
How did you get involved?
Oh, this is best. This is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was promoting a local band at the time, and
What
they
year is
were-
this?
It was 1998.
Okay.
I had dial-up internet, AOL message boards with a jam, and I was promoting the show because this band that I was working with at the time, they were booked as local support for King when they came through on the Voodoo tour in '98. So I was like on the boards, like, "Hey guys, come to this show," and I saw like a message that said a post that was like actress needed. You know, blah, blah, blah. And it was like a week old, so I figured they already found somebody, but I was like, you know, I'm going to answer it that way, like, when we go to the show, I'll be like, oh, yeah, we talked over the internet.
Did you know who was involved, or like who?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was for King Diamond, but,
Oh, wow.
so I just answered kind of like, I mean, I answered, like, seriously, but I just assumed it wouldn't happen. But I heard back, like, right away, and then we with this band, we went to, like, I don't know, we went out of town to, like, play a show, and then I remember, like, I was supposed to get a call from King on Sunday, so, like, we, like, crashed wherever we were and had to drive back, and I remember being like, come on, guys, we gotta go home, because King Diamond's gonna call me!
I gotta... Because
there was no cell phones, I had to, like, go get the real phone and, like, pick it up.
Oh, of course.
So he called and left a message on my answering machine, so I kept that tape for, like, a while.
Was it King Diamond himself?
Yeah, he said, hello, Jodi, this is King Diamond.
Oh my God.
I'm calling to talk
2
to you
impressions
about...
tonight.
Yeah. So I called him back, and then I flew out, like, 4 days later.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I had, like, 2 part-time jobs, so I'm like, sorry, guys, I'm out.
Did you have to audition, I guess? Or, like...
No, that was pretty much... just the phone conversation was the, like... I guess if I wasn't, like, a total tool, like, you know, it was like, all right, good enough, come out. I mean, it was so quick, like... I flew out, and we only had a couple of days until the tour started, so everything was super fast.
How much prep work was involved?
I had 1 rehearsal.
Okay. What'd you have to do?
Basically, it was like, all right, we're gonna play these songs, and, like, it's still this way now. King is like, I want you to do, like, this right here, I want you to do this right here, and then figure out the rest. So, I just totally fucking wung it. I had no idea. I'd never listened to King Diamond before.
I was gonna ask, were you a big fan?
Nope, never listened to him before. Because, you know, people...
That's especially cool.
People who like to imitate King Diamond, they're horrible. You know, they're like, ah! You know, and I was like, ew. Like, every time somebody would say that, I'm like, I don't want to listen to this band.
Yeah, coming up in, like, the 80s and 90s, there was a contest for, like, singers who could sing the highest. You were like, please stop.
Yeah. I knew this chick that was super into them, and every time she would be like,
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, there's only a couple that can do it, and
Yeah.
you're not the one.
So
like,
I-
full on, yeah.
So yeah, I was totally shitting my pants. Like, that first show, like, it was, you know, I went to the rehearsals, and it was like, okay, we're gonna rehearse today, but it didn't happen. It's the same thing that happens now. Okay, we'll rehearse today. Like, the band would rehearse, but we would never get around to our part, you know. And then, so the first show was on Easter Sunday, and I was just
In the US or in Europe?
It was US. It was
Okay.
US tour, and yeah, I was just like, I'm shitting my fucking pants. What am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm doing. So I just was like, I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna do some shit. And after that show on the bus, all the guys were like, that was awesome. He's totally gonna take you to Europe. Oh, I don't want to say that. I was like, you're so much better than the last girl. You know? And I was like,
You're
dude,
20 years in, you can say that now.
Well, I guess so. All right. I've never
You
met
got
her.
the job.
Yeah, I think you
But
got
yeah,
the job.
so I was like, you know, I just don't know, because they're like, she would just stand there. I'm like, well, like, standing, like, when you're on, you know, you're on stage, standing around seems, it's like a nightmare.
I don't want to just
And
No.
30 seconds feels like an
No.
hour.
I better
like-
just do something.
So,
anything.
exactly. So I'm like, all right, let's just, like, do some shit, you know. But like I said, luckily, that's how it started. And luckily, my confidence grew, his confidence in me grew. We work really well together, and it's just been like,
Are there other actors or actresses on stage?
no.
Just you?
But King is, you know, he's acting like the whole
True.
time. So the two of us feed off each other.
So, the whole stage performance is pretty intense. There's a lot of stuff on stage at a King Diamond
Yeah.
show. How long does it take to get that set up?
Dude, our guys are so pro. It's crazy. It's a lot. It's a huge crew, and it's a lot of prep work beforehand. But once that system is in place, it's like no fucking around. We've had to do changeovers like 10 minutes, get all that shit off stage, which is insane. It's like
That is-
moving. It's like moving all of.
It's
your
like a
possessions.
house.
Yeah. Like, but when we did the Mayhem
Jeez.
tour, you know, with Slayer headlining, like, those changeovers are fast, and you got to get the fuck out of the headliner's way.
Has something ever gone like terribly awry?
It probably every night, right?
Only a little bit of right. That's
yeah.
what keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Never like horrible. I do remember one time back in like 2000, Shadows Fall was supporting us, and at the Philly show, like, we had these big candelabras on stage, and one of them fell down on the guitar player while they were playing. That had nothing to do with us, but it was
on
pretty
them.
funny. Yeah.
Did they get hurt?
No. So.
Okay, well,
But it was pretty funny.
Every night you kind of have like a chance of like Spinal Tap happening,
Oh yeah.
but you know
that could happen with any band.
Yeah.
I have seen it happen to Coven. So she got trapped in the coffin.
really.
I did catch the beginning of their set at MDF.
Yeah. Well,
looked
no, I
pretty
saw him
badass.
for the first show back at Roadburn last year, not this year. And yeah, she got stuck in the coffin.
Oh my God. So the worst thing that I ever did for this show, well, worse than it was cool, but like, we have this coffin. It's this really awesome coffin trick where King used to go in the coffin and get burned alive, you know, and then since times, you know, bodies change, situation changed. Next thing you know, it was like, well, you're gonna have to go in the coffin. And I was like, oh my god!
It didn't fit in it.
That thing is motherfucking tight. It is so scary.
How long did it be in it?
Not long, but it feels really long.
Enough for it to be uncomfortable.
And plus, it's like, yeah, it's hot, and then you're like, people are wheeling you around, and I'm like, what if somebody just is like, oops, wheeled her off stage, you know? I'm like, I could die in here.
Coffin surfing.
Yeah.
That's the worst way to die.
Already in a coffin.
Yeah, it's kind of convenient, isn't
I
it?
mean, yeah, it is a little convenient. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe easy on you guys.
How long are you on stage at these shows?
It varies by tour. The last tour, we did the Abigail album, and that one was probably the most that I've been on stage. And for me, I think it was really cool to do the album in its entirety because it actually made me appreciate the songwriting even more. Like, it made me appreciate the storyline way more, like acting it out as like the story flows.
It's like
you
a
know?
Broadway traveling musical.
Mm-hmm.
I call it like a heavy metal Halloween musical
hell
or
yeah.
something, you know. But yeah, I mean it's always, you know, usually on off. But that one was probably a little bit more intense. than
So how
previous
long were you
tours.
on for the Abigail one?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Like how many songs?
I'll do like one and then be off one, then on and then off.
Okay.
Off, on, and then out for like 3, and then off, and then out again. So it's, I'd say on the Abigail one, probably 2/3 of the set.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's less normally.
Is
but
the grandma mask hotter than the coffin?
hot as balls, that thing. Well, when I was in the coffin, I was in the grandma mask, and that's what made it super
Oh, yeah.
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You know?
Holy
But,
moly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to put you in a
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Inside a box.
Yeah, exactly.
In another
like,
box.
Like this.
And let's move you around.
Yeah. Don't kill me.
Now, aside stage, like, do you have anybody helping you, like, with...
Well, there was one tour I did where my back was like super injured. Like, I couldn't put my shoes on most days, you know? So quick changeovers were a nightmare.
Right.
And so our production manager helped me out like a lot. He was like my right hand dude, you know? Basically like if anybody's nearby, I'll get a zip up or zip down, and the rest of it's just like, you know, like changes are quick. But the set, we do, King does consider that, like when he does, like, you know, figures out the set list. But of course, if you're doing the album, the set list is already decided. But but still, like, I mean, it's all part of my prep every day for the show. Is how do I figure out how to do this as fast as possible?
And what art direction? Do you have art? You do art stuff with it too, don't you?
Only when we built the last set, I started to do some work on the set, which was really cool for me because it was like just getting to see that like live and on stage was awesome.
I was gonna ask, does King Diamond have complete creative control over
Yes.
what the show looks like?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I credit him a lot for. I think the whole thing is that's why it's so much like. That's why it's so awesome, is because it's him being like, I mean, he'll put challenges on the crew to like build stuff that they're like, oh my god, like we can't do this. You know, he'll be like, well, I want it to be like this, and everybody's like, oh my god, are you crazy? Like, how are we gonna do this? And they pull it off. Like he sets the bar fucking high. Like, he knows what he wants. He sets it high, and like we all work together and make that shit happen.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do, is like set the bar at something that seems impossible, that you think you can't do, but then you manage to make it work, and then that's like cool.
Yeah, every tour is like, can't believe we pulled that shit
Has
off.
it always been like that since like you started performing with them?
I'd say it gets more and more intense like every tour.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at first it was like, you know, I remember being like, all right, well, let's shop for costumes. And it was like me and the tour manager in the mall. And I'm like, I don't shop.
What store do you go to?
Oh my God.
Where's the King Diamond store?
But the good thing is, like, I love Halloween. So I
Right.
make costumes out of, like, weird anything you can buy at the thrift store. So that was, I went into it with that attitude, like, I'm also like not a spender, and I'm not, if there's no like budget given to me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this as cheap as possible. I'm gonna whatever, I'm gonna test my sewing skills out, which are like, it's like nothing, it's like whatever, but again, just made it work. And then eventually, well, after King when he had his heart attack and came back, everything kind of changed. Things changed a lot. His attitude was like, fuck it. Like, we've been doing this forever. Let's go balls fucking out. So then we were spending more money on the set, more money on costumes, just like, let's do this shit like for real. So it definitely stepped up our game like crazy after that happened, which was good.
That's good. Do you have a favorite King Diamond song now after not knowing him when you first started?
I don't know, not really.
Mine's Halloween.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm not in Halloween, so it's not my favorite.
It's not about me.
My first impression of King Diamond was weird because I was working at Guitar Center and I was friends with this girl there that had a King Diamond tribute band that she participated in. Yeah. And their bass player, Queen Diamond, couldn't make it for a couple gigs, and she's like, Leanne, will you just learn these King Diamond songs on bass? And I was like, sure, whatever. And then I went home and was like,
yeah, it's the Bible.
Jeez. But then as I learned it, I was like, oh, I like this part. Oh, I like this whole song. Oh, this is my jam. Yeah. It quickly escalated.
There's some crazy musicianship happening in that band for sure.
For sure, but it's definitely an acquired taste. Like the first couple times I heard it, I was like, I don't get why people like this. I'm just being honest. But then over time I was like,
I didn't like his vocals at all. It makes me giggle. Like, when we have rehearsals, I'm like giggling because I'm like we're like in a serious situation. It's like and then it's like, and I'm like, why am I the only one laughing? This is so funny. But like since then again, like totally everything grew on me. Like, I mean, the music, like I said, is it's bonkers.
You're not the only one laughing. It's over the top, but that's what makes it cool and exciting.
Exactly.
Is like nobody else sounds like this.
And knowing how serious he is about, like, that shit's serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's like there's no. I used to think it was weird that like he didn't listen to like music that was happening like now, that was coming out now. He likes what he likes, and that's it. And then I had a discussion with somebody, and he's like, I think that's why he's so true to what he does, because there's no like other influences coming in. It's just like, it's all.
But he respects other bands. And
totally.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, as a metal kid getting this job, I thought it would all be all about talking about other bands and stuff, and it was like, oh no, not really.
Yeah.
And then I mean, over the years, it's just like, he likes what he likes, but he's not listening. Like, I'd be like, oh, like, there's not many bands doing, like, big show stuff, I always loved Guar, and I'd say, he's like, I never seen Guar. And I'm like, or at the time, I'm like, oh, Slayer's got this thing going on. I haven't seen it.
It doesn't compare.
It's like, I don't see it, I don't want to see it, I don't give a shit, I got my own ideas, I don't even need these people's ideas.
And they're real tight, too. Him and Carrie are real tight, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes it really cool and unique.
Yeah, it's kind of like unfiltered. It's like when you discover something in a cave and it's just been that way the whole time, but it still keeps growing without other outside influence.
But it's somebody's like perspective and vision of like the music can't be disassociated from the art, just like D Antwoord, like we were talking about outside. But it's like you can't not have King Diamond in the music.
Yeah.
Like, well, that sounded stupid, but you can't have like the visuals separate from the music and himself. It has to be this whole thing. Like, somebody else cannot just be playing that music.
Yeah.
It has to be the whole package.
Yeah.
And it's performance art. It's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to wake up every morning and paint your face like King Diamond to appreciate it. You know what I mean?
To.
Like, All right, well, I mean, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you can look at it and go, yeah, that shit is crazy, you know, like, and the musicianship and whatever, and not, like, you know, be president of the fan club.
Yeah, no, totally. I love when I see other bands do, like, I'm like, are you bringing it from every angle?
Yeah.
Then you have my respect, and I'm going to pay some close attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not listening to those records all the time, but, like, you know, you can do that with any kind of art.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite live music memories that you've had? Because I see you, we're always at shows together. Like, what's one of your standout favorite shows?
You know, it's funny. I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and when people talk about shows, they go, I was there in 1901, and I saw somebody play this.
No memory for that.
Yeah, and you know, and people usually say that, and it's like a put down. Like, but like when I say it, like I want to, like I wish you were there.
Yeah.
Like, man, oh God, I wish you were there. Alice in Chains at the Troc with Lane Staley was still alive.
Oh.
For the Dirt album. Screaming Trees and Grunt Truck opened up. Lane Staley came out all in leather, looked like fucking Lestat, and had a full bottle of Jack Daniels and drank that from the neck to the bottom like David Lee Roth. And it was the fucking most awesome show I've ever seen.
What year was that?
19 whatever.
Was it the Troc or was it the TLA?
No, it was
at
at
the Troc? Yeah.
It was at the Troc.
So many great shows happened at the Troc in the 90s.
I grew up there.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I think all
my
three of us grew up there.
Best moments are at the fucking Troc. That place was used to be so rad.
I just want them to invest money into it right now, so it keeps going because it needs some money invested into it.
Yeah.
They're
it's so infrequent that good shows.
They have a lot to compete with.
They've recently started hiring. Like they were on hiatus with a booker, and I think it's for sale. The original owners are finally selling it.
What?
So yeah, I know, crazy.
I gotta holler at your girl.
So yeah, it's in like a transition phase the last couple years. So that's kind of why it's been a little sporadic for what's been for there. Because I was just there for Helmet and Prong. Helmet was great.
Oh, I wanted to. I wasn't. Well, I guess that
Helmet was great. I mean, I don't have any comment about Prong, but
I would have liked to see Helmet because I've never seen that.
I saw him in the 90s.
Yeah, I saw him in the 90s, and then I've seen him a couple times
since.
Yeah, I saw him with the Toadies as well a couple years back.
The Toadies are great.
Yeah.
They're so great.
I mean, that's the 90s love right there. But
yeah, I love the Toadies. They're from Texas. You don't mess with a Texas band, dude. Come on.
The name is terrible.
Have you guys always been like in the tri-state area?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Me too.
You sound bummed about that.
Seems boring.
No, it's not, Jodi.
I would like to go.
I mean,
you know what's funny? It's like when I bought my house,
world.
I never. I just was like, I never decided to stay in Philly. I'm just still here. You know.
I have left and then have come back. So multiple times.
I mean, the people are all right.
To the Netherlands.
The people they come and go. Yeah, the people definitely come and go. Yeah. Some of them are okay. Some are better than average. Some of them are average. You know, some are below average.
Well, you jerks are all right.
I got out for a year to Las Vegas, and I missed Philly like no
Vegas
other.
Is fucking weird, though.
Vegas is so fucking weird.
It was not a good experience. Let me tell you that. But I missed Philly a lot, and now I'm like, I really don't ever want to leave again. Or just like this general area. There's something special about it.
I think we're very lucky that like natural disasters like don't really hit here. I say it quiet because I don't want to
I gotta hit
that. I mean,
there's like hurricanes.
You say that, and then we're gonna get hit with a hurricane.
No, Grandma freaking jinxed it.
No, it's fine.
We're gonna get hit with a hurricane, or it's gonna be like a fracking-caused earthquake, or like.
I love this area. I think it takes a certain character to live in this area.
You have to have a character to tolerate this area.
I was on the phone. I was doing business with a band. A lot of the bands I do work with are from down south, and not by coincidence because they have that swing in their music, and you just can't get away from it. So we're talking. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and he's busting my stones. He's like, "Heard you guys burned down the city." I'm like, "Nah, the city's still up."
Everybody said that.
Did you see my street the next day?
Oh, wait a minute, the city's still up. And he's like, "Heard you guys were flipping all the cars in Philadelphia." I go,
"No more than usual."
No more than usual. Right? And he goes, "Dude, that's He goes, that's crazy. I said, I'm sorry that you've never had that much joy in your life that you didn't feel like you had to flip
You
a car.
need to wreck some shit.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry, buddy. Whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, do you have any pets?
You want me to talk about my dog?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, we're going to be here.
I have the best dog in the world. Do you want me to pull up a picture? Oh, see my. I have the best dog in the world.
One of.
Literally. In my world. She's the sweetest, kindest, cutest thing ever. Ever. I love her.
Ruby
Name's
is the
Ruby.
shit, yeah.
What kind of dog?
She's a mystery mix.
Mm.
She might be part long-haired dachshund.
I have a long-haired miniature dachshund.
Yeah. Yeah, they should meet and make out because that's the best.
My dog I've already scheduled to marry somebody else's dog, but if that
Well,
dog
they can
isn't
still make out a
into
little
my
bit, that's
dog,
fine.
like your dog can marry my dog.
Oh, we're friends.
I asked you earlier.
This
I was like,
guy has some sweet dogs too.
They are pretty amazing.
okay.
Even though they're bad dogs.
Spill the beans,
No kidding.
Brian.
I have 2 boxer mixes.
Ooh.
But they really do not. They only look boxer mixes, like up on the chest, whatever.
They're big barrels.
Yeah, they're. Well, Duff's big. Duff's a big dude. He's like 80 pounds. And
Big
then,
dog.
And then Ronnie James. We have Ronnie James. He's running around and he's a terrorist.
Such a
He's-
great name.
He's a bad dog. That's why he's so cute.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a little savage. We have to put a loincloth on him and he just runs around.
Really?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's-
Give him a sword and he will take out all of like
Man,
these
he
guys.
is such a dick. yeah. He'll run a party, dude. It's so cool.
So do you prefer Dio Sabbath or Ozzy Sabbath? They each their own beast to you because that's where they are for me.
Well, if you would have asked me when I was in my 20s, I'd have gotten a fight with this Ozzy Sabbath forever. And then I realized that, that Dio Sabbath is so awesome.
Fucking good.
So fucking
it's
good,
it's so
man.
under fucking rated.
Yeah. It's really underrated. And I'm like even messing with like the other stuff. And, so those shirts are like, you can only trust the first so many out.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
It is.
Bullshit.
Sabbath has put
You
out.
don't go on record.
Sabbath has put out numerous
Yeah,
good
yeah,
albums.
yeah.
There's no time limit to cut it off at.
Stop it.
It's not like you can just say, "Oh, the Black Album." Like
I'm glad. I kind of sort of know the dudes that put out those shirts, and I'm glad that they're making money on it. But it's bullshit. Henry Rollins is wrong on that statement. With a lot of statements, but whatever.
We played some festivals with Black Sabbath and they actually went on before us every night. I'd be like, yeah, Black Sabbath is opening for us.
You're cold, Jodi. You're
No, because I was
cold.
literally like doing the happy dance with my underwear. I'd be like getting ready. I'm like putting on my makeup. I'm like, I'm just putting on like my stage wear. It's
Right.
a Black Sabbath.
hanging out on the side of the
live.
stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sick. Yeah.
Ozzy's mascara is probably running by now. I'm putting it on.
Oh my.
But those are the metal moments. So one thing I love in life is metal moments. And like we all, you're fucking touring all the time. You know gazillion people. I'm so fortunate to have gone cool places and met so many people, but like we're all still like 12-year-old metalheads like deep down, and when I have those metal moments, I'm like,
I love the metal moment. I get them way too frequently. It seems like at the same time, and it's like I can't nerd out, but I have to work. I have to be professional, but I'm having a metal moment.
I openly do it, even for bands that aren't even like classic metal.
I think you and King Woman, you had a metal moment.
No, I just liked King Woman. So
Kerry King came and hugged me last night on his accord, not me,
What?
not me going to hug him. Well, we toured with Slayer a couple of years ago,
I'm a
and
little
like,
mad that you went out there because I got friends. Did you see
Where
my
was
friends?
It was in
where are
Reading,
your friends?
right? Reading.
Lamb.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I have a story.
Where in Reading?
So
The Sovereign Bank Center,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
No, but get back to Carrie hugging me. So it was just like awesome because I'm always the one who's always reaching out. I'm like me, And so I went in and said hello, and he was busy like playing guitar, and I was like ripping on him, being like, whatever, you're so busy playing guitar. And then like later in the night, I went back, and then he like came over to me and was like, I didn't get a hug earlier, and I was like,
Aww.
I'm cool.
Everybody's a Jodi fan.
Yeah, so
Carrie never hugged
for
me.
me, those are metal moments, you know? Because, like, 12-year-old me
I'd
is like,
say so.
oh, God,
Oh my
it's alright!
god, do you know how many little boys would be like,
I mean,
that lineup, the lineup on the tour right now is so sick.
yeah.
And there's so many awesome
Lamb of God played on. Did they play that show too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
yeah, and like Behemoth, I toured with Behemoth before, so it's always great to see those dudes. And like, I mean, the whole lineup is so sick, and so it's like, yay. Like, it's great to love so many people, and they're so awesome, so you get to get like the best of everything. And
I try to keep low profile in those situations. Because I got a big mouth. Like, I was worried about this. You know what I mean? Like, what's he gonna say? So, like,
Who, me?
no, like me.
No.
You know? So, like,
you like self?
shut up. So, like, you know, Lamb's like one of my biggest clients, friends, if not that. And like, so like you hang out, and it's like, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up here.
You mean like spilling people's secrets?
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
no,
no,
it's
not
not
even
even
that.
that. No. In situations, I find it's better to just not talk and
Right.
let other people. Because when I open my mouth, I end up alienating myself in a way. Like,
So I won't say this too happened, and I won't name names, but there was somebody that I didn't become friends with on the tour that we did with Slayer, and I was kind of like, I guess they just don't want to get to know me. You know, it happens.
No.
Whatever. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Cool.
yes.
And so then I was talking to that person's girlfriend last night, and then they came up, and I'm like, we like never really even said hello. I'm Jodi, even though we spent like so much time together. And he was like, I'm weird. I don't talk to anybody. And as soon as he said it, I was like,
Yeah, you
oh
figure
my
it
god,
out.
we need to be best friends.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, fuck, all this time I just thought you were kind of like, but really you're just like the rest of us. Like,
Yeah.
we're all just like nerds. But
that's
you're a
usually
little
what I
more
assume
nerdy
is you're no different than me.
Yeah,
Like,
and
Yeah, I'm
just
just got the same opinions.
Yeah.
But I come into the situation being like, oh my god, like,
yes.
you know, you're Slayer, so if you don't want to get to know me, I totally understand
have
why.
you have this pedestal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So that was actually like super cool. I suddenly had this switch that flipped and was like, oh, you're not like better than me. You're really nerdy, and we could totally throw it out. Yeah.
Maybe it just takes some softening them up.
Must be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My big geek out moment was when I got to work for Testament.
Yeah.
I love Testament.
Meanwhile, I saw Mercer Rock bumper stickers on some Testament gear last night.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
You're still running stuff, are
We're
they?
talking about you a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Chuck Billy is one of the coolest dudes in the fucking world. So, and the Lamb guys turned me on to them.
Have you gotten to do any overkill stuff or no?
No, I have not, but I would like to do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think you'd be a good fit there.
Exodus is the one I really want to do stuff for.
Yeah.
You should.
Because I just saw them recently, and I listened to Exodus back, in the day. And,
Who didn't?
Yeah, I mean, when jean jackets were jean jackets.
I used to thrash around in my living room.
Yeah,
Top
yeah.
of walls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And you just saw them, and, people dismiss those bands when they get to a certain age, and they're just getting better.
They're just fucking
They are.
crushing it. They're
Dude.
crushing it. They're the best dudes ever. They're crushing it.
That show was fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
You should work with them. Let's make it happen.
God.
Yeah. Let's figure out a way to make that happen.
Man, that was so good. So good. I was texting everybody. I'm like, dude, Exodus comes to town, go see him or punch yourself in the face.
I think you text
see
me.
him and punch
the
yourself in the
show, I
face.
think you just text me. Middle.
Man, what the fuck is going on here? I completely forgot,
We did a tour with them. This is one thing I love about having my job is we toured with them, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking see Exodus every night. Like, fuck yeah.
That is right.
And turns out they're like the best dudes ever too. So like, them and Death Angel are probably the
Death
coolest,
Angel.
yeah.
fucking awesome and coolest fucking dudes ever. Like, you can't get a better,
Yeah.
just all over package of human beings.
So is like making art and being in King Diamond what you do, or do you have other things?
I also do some graphic design still for clients, but mainly because, like, since King Diamond's tour schedule is so sporadic, like,
Sure.
I'm just kind of always struggling to be like, how do I make money now? You know, but I focus more and more. The more I build up my art following, the less I want to focus on graphic design. So I have a couple clients that are good clients that, you know, I have like year contracts with kind of the deal. So that's cool. I try not to pick up extra work because, again, it's just like it's too many things to concentrate
too many
on,
pieces.
and I feel like I get a good response from my artwork, so I really want to just pay more attention to that and give it more like focus that it deserves and shit.
So, what would most people be surprised to learn about you guys? I'll start with myself. I'm really good at typing. I can type at the speed of light and not even look at the thing and
That's
like be having a conversation and then look at my email and be like,
Did they teach you that in school?
No, I just did it often enough that I was like, it's not dissimilar from playing the guitar.
Well, I live in Jersey where they still have trees and stuff. Yes, that happens. And my wife likes the garden, and we got some rad ass gardens. And like, when shit gets hard, you go out back and go.
It's me and the earth.
Yeah, it's kind of rad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the dogs are running around. Got a can of beer and koozie and fucking.
I'm into that.
Yeah, man.
What's something that people don't? I like cats.
Everybody fucking
Dante! If you were closer, you would get the friggin' beer thrown at you. Sorry, it happens every once in a while. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody knew that already.
You would really have to ask somebody else, man. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an open book, but probably I don't know. What do you think about me that I can tell you it's wrong?
Ah!
What?
I don't know.
I'm done talking
what
about
I think
me. Why
about-
don't you talk about me for a while?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I guess, you know what, maybe, here's something, I don't know. I don't even know if it's really real. I'm really outgoing, like, when I meet people, but it's
PMA.
honestly because I'm kind of, like, nervous. I'm just like, I just want people to like me. And, like, so I just talk a lot and try to make friends, but really, I'm pretty, like,
Girl,
shy
when I
and
met you,
reserved.
you were just like, wiener dogs, metal, and I was like, I like you. It was very easy.
Well,
There
we got in a conversation about, like, people that we know and whatnot, and we're like, well, do you feel better about yourself after you hang out with them? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, in kind of a selfish way, like, I don't know. Like, you were like, I don't know, like, Jodi's, like super PMA, like, positive amount of attitude. So, like, it's hard not to, like, be like, oh, I fucking feel better after hanging out with Jodi. So...
I definitely
mushy.
walked away with that feeling.
Yeah,
and
man.
like,
Yeah.
I've got an extra piece on my arm. Or,
Yeah,
you
man.
know.
So, I mean...
I
like,
think I do. I will say that I don't, in a weird way, like, especially, like, through touring relationships, you know, I, like, fucking love anybody I've spent time with. Like, I really value the time that I spend with people.
Yeah.
And I kind of assume that people walk away and they're like, yeah, whatever, you know? So, I'm comfortable assuming that I like people more than they like me. I think maybe that's weird.
I'm the same
Right
way,
now,
Jodi.
maybe, and I think because I'm really chatty, that people maybe they think maybe I'm aloof or whatever. But I'm like, no, I really actually super value that shit. Like, if I spend 5 minutes with you, it's changing my life.
5
and
minutes are important.
I really appreciate it. And maybe I'm just kind of like happy and aloof because I'm actually just really nervous and just want.
No, it's a good thing to invest your energy into something positive and sharing with people. It's good. It's really, really good, and I admire that in people.
Yay!
Yeah, you nutted up and like punched me in the arm and were like, dude.
Oh, which brings us back to the beginning of this podcast. When you asked how we met, I was going to say, I didn't add that I was a big fan of your work before I met you. So I was like, I'm going to put
Brian
myself out
Mercer,
there and
Brian
be I'm like, you're awesome. And I need, not only because our mutual friend was constantly fucking dropping your name, but because I was like, you're making rad work and I should know you.
Yeah.
And also to go back on that, Brian is like my first like real like artist friend, the first person I've ever had a friendship with that we could like talk about shit and really like talk about the struggles, talk about getting better, what we need to do, talk about making out with trolls. And it's really, I value that element of our friendship as well as the stupid drunken bullshit that we did.
Yeah. Bar bills get big.
Yeah.
Barbells get big.
Well, that's all right. That's the price you pay.
Yeah, it totally punched me in the arm. It was a big
We had
deal.
like $100 barbell drinking Miller Lights one night. I'm like, how is that even possible? How is that even possible?
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
Yeah. Broke bartenders' hearts. Bartender's heart was totally broken.
So before we finish up, do you guys have anything you guys want to plug?
Yeah! So, again, back to this awesome connection that we have. We are doing a joint show together that opens Friday, September 21st. I'm super stoked.
Where?
At Grindcore House.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So we're both like making all new work for it. I'm gonna be showing shit that hasn't been seen before at all, and I think it's gonna be awesome. I love the people of Grindcore
Yeah.
House. That
Mike
place
is awesome.
Fucking rules. Everything about that business rules.
Yeah, I wish that was in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I love it because I live right near it. It has great shit, but also they're like
Solid
really
people.
big on. They support what they put their money where their mouth is. They support the community. They support shit they believe in. They show rad work, and Brian and I have been like having all these bullshit art talks for whatever a year and a half, and finally we're gonna do something about it and do something together and it's
Kick
gonna be awesome.
ass.
It was originally supposed to be Jodi's show, and she's like, well, let's do one together. I'm like, well, a solo show's a big deal, Jode. And she's like, it'll be fun. It'll be great. PMA. PMA. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. So it was originally Jodi's show. It's Jodi's show. I'm tagging along.
I like having my homies with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only other thing, if you invite us on your tour bus,
we will drink all of your beer until you kick us out. Okay, that's what we do.
completely happened. Completely happened.
Yeah, I've had it happen too.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, especially whatever.
You guys are the party.
Well, cheers to that, guys.
Thank you
We
guys
love
for
you
having us.
guys.
Thank
Thanks
you for
having
being
us.
on.
Yay.
Full on.
It's great.
Ba-dum.
You're so fucking good. You're so fucking great.
Good times.
Let's show your panties.
Oh, yeah, we never like
seen your butt tonight.
All right, no, that's true. That's true. I got these AC/DC men's boxers, $8.99 at Target. They might be a little sweaty at the moment because I was sitting next to Jodi, and you know what she does.
You know what she does.